The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
It really did. I mean, it was everywhere.
Picture it. You have Melanie Griffith stepping out, and that famous, iconic heart tattoo on her arm, the one with Antonio inked right in the center. It's suddenly fading.
Yeah, you could visibly see it.
It was actively being removed via laser. And with that fading ink, a 19-year run for one of Hollywood's ultimate golden couples was just over.
Completely over.
And it leads us to the massive headline we are building our deep dive around today. Antonio Banderas reveals what really happened after his divorce from Melanie. Welcome to StarScope Report.
We are so excited to get into this one.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame. Okay, let's unpack this. We have a huge stack of sources today.
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot to cover.
We've got celebrity gossip, entertainment news, and surprisingly, a pretty heavy academic text from the University of California Press.
Right, which isn't our usual source material, but it's so relevant here. The mission today is to look at Antonio Banderas' recent shocking confession about his relationship with Melanie Griffith 11 years after their split.
11 years.
Yeah. And we're going to explore those initial infidelity rumors, the massive age gap romance that followed, and honestly, how their breakup actually exposed a huge hidden tidal wave that is changing society.
Which is this concept of the gray divorce, right?
Exactly, the gray divorce.
So let's get into the Hollywood breakup first. After almost 2 decades, this total fairy tale just implodes.
It was heartbreaking for a lot of fans.
It really was. So just for a quick timeline for you listening, they met at the 1989 Oscars, right?
Yep, 1989.
And then they reunited on the set of Too Much in 1995, got married in 1996. Fast forward to June 2014, and they announced their split. It gets finalized in December 2015. But splitting up when you're that famous and that rich is, it's wild.
Oh, the assets. The asset split was staggering. Keep in mind, this was Melanie's 4th divorce and Antonio's 2nd.
So they weren't rookies.
No, not at all. So Banderas, he kept the profits from his solo projects, things like The Mask of Zorro and Spy Kids.
Makes sense.
Right. But then they had to split everything they both had a stake in, so that meant cutting up the profits for Shrek 2
Wow.
and Puss in Boots. Plus, they had to divide their fine art collections.
I was reading this. The Picassos, right?
Yes. They had original Picasso and Diego Rivera paintings. Imagine having to sit down with lawyers and decide who gets the Picasso.
That is just, it's such an A-list problem to have.
Totally. And in the end, Melanie walked away with their Aspen home and a staggering $65,000 a month in alimony.
$65,000 a month. I mean, my brain can't even process that kind of alimony.
It's a different world.
It really is.
Yeah.
But of course, the public reaction wasn't focused on who got the Diego Rivera painting. It was all about the scandal, the whispers of infidelity surrounding Antonio. Because right after the split entered Nicole Kemple.
Right, the new girlfriend.
A woman 21 years his junior. And the intense public scrutiny on this was insane.
Oh, it was brutal. On the red carpet, Kim Powell looks so young that just recently on Instagram, a commenter actually mistook her for Banderas' daughter, Carmen.
Ouch. I mean, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, the visual contrast really fueled those tabloid fires.
So I have to ask because the timeline looks incredibly suspicious to me.
Mhm.
He met Nicole at Cannes in May 2014, and then Antonio and Melanie separated in June 2014, just 1 month later.
Yeah.
Did Nicole break up the marriage?
You know, it's the natural conclusion everyone jumped to, but if we look at the facts and Banderas' own words to the press, he firmly denied it.
Firmly.
Absolutely. He stated they were both fully aware he was a married man when they met at Cannes, and according to him, Nicole explicitly told him, and this is a quote, "You've got to solve your problems first, then we'll see."
Wow. Okay, so she set a boundary.
Exactly. She told him to figure out his marriage before anything could happen between them.
Okay, so if it wasn't a scandalous affair that ended one of Hollywood's longest marriages, what really happened? The answer actually lies in a demographic time bomb you probably didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
But first, if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
So, getting back to it, Banderas and Griffith weren't just this weird Hollywood anomaly. They were actually the poster children for a shocking societal shift.
Right, and this is where that University of California Press data comes in.
Yes, the academic side of our deep dive today. This data introduces the concept of the gray divorce.
Which is such a fascinating term.
Right. It refers to divorces occurring at age 50 or older. And at the time of their split, Antonio was 55 and Melanie was 58. They fit the exact profile.
They were textbook cases.
Exactly. And the data shows that approximately 1 in 4 divorces in the U.S. is now a gray divorce.
Wait, 1 in 4, that's 25%. That is a massive chunk of people.
It is. And it's not just them. The source material lists other A-listers, too. Harrison Ford divorced Melissa Matheson after 20 years. That was a $90 million settlement.
Oh my gosh.
And Mel Gibson divorced Robin Moore after 31 years. They had to split an $850 million fortune.
I try to relate this to normal life. You know? It's like having a classic car that you've maintained for 30 years, you've kept it running, you've polished it, and then suddenly you just decide to abandon it on the side of the road.
That's a great way to put it.
Why would people in their 50s and 60s who have already raised kids and built an entire life together suddenly pull the plug like that?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the UC Press researchers point to 3 major macro trends causing this shift.
Okay, what's the first one?
First is a change in divorce culture. Historically, marriage was viewed as a communal duty, but it shifted. It became a vehicle for personal growth and inner happiness.
So less about duty to the family and more about, like, am I fulfilled?
Exactly. If the marriage isn't serving your personal growth anymore, society now says it's okay to leave. The second trend is life expectancy.
Oh, this makes so much sense.
Right. We are living to nearly 80 now, sometimes longer, so 50 is no longer the end of the road.
It's just halftime.
Exactly. It's a chance for a whole second life. You don't want to spend your next 30 years unhappy.
Totally. And what was the third one?
The third is no-fault divorce laws. The legal system just made it easier to leave without having to prove abuse or adultery in court. You can just say it's not working and walk away.
So it's easier legally, it's more accepted culturally, and you have way more time left on the clock. It sounds like a really liberating second act for these couples. But wait till you hear what comes next, because walking away at 50 comes with a brutal hidden penalty that literally destroys lives. And how Antonio and Melanie dodged it is the wildest part of this story.
Yeah, the gray divorce penalty is a very real, very dark side to this trend.
Let's break this down, because the academic source went into a lot of detail on this.
It did. And the craziest part is that the penalty is strictly split by gender.
Right.
Women face a severe economic penalty. We're talking massive loss of retirement savings, generally lower wages, and often the loss of dependent health insurance.
Because they might have been on their husband's plan.
Exactly. But men, on the other hand, face a severe social penalty.
Okay. Social penalty, what does that look like?
Well, it's the loss of friendships, which are usually maintained by the
Wife, the king-keeping thing.
Yes, king-keeping. Women typically organize the social calendar, remember birthdays, keep in touch with the couple friends. When the marriage ends, the man often loses that entire network. Plus, they face a huge loss of caregiving support from their adult children as they get older.
Okay, I have to push back here for a second.
Sure.
Because how in the world does an economic penalty apply to Melanie Griffith?
Yeah.
Like, we just said she got a giant Aspen estate and $65,000 a month,
Yeah.
and she's Hollywood royalty. It feels like they are totally immune to these rules.
And that's a completely fair point. The researchers actually address this. A-listers are absolutely cushioned by extreme wealth from the economic ruin. Melanie Griffith isn't going to struggle to pay for health insurance.
Right, obviously.
However, they are not immune to the social penalty. No amount of money buys you a genuine family network. As Banderas aged, he was highly vulnerable to losing his connections, his friendships, and that family support system.
Which sets up this shocking twist perfectly. In 2019, Antonio Banderas suffered a massive heart attack.
It was terrifying. He was at his home in England.
And who saved his life?
Yeah.
It wasn't some huge team of doctors on standby. It was his younger girlfriend, Nicole Kimple, acting quickly and giving him aspirin.
Maximum strength aspirin. She literally saved him. It's just wild.
Oh.
And his reaction to it was so emotional. He later said this medical emergency, this brush with death, was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Which sounds crazy to say about a heart attack.
Right. But he said it made him stop wasting time on unimportant things. It stripped everything back to what really mattered. It totally rewired his perspective. And I think that realization plays a massive part in where he is today.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because if you look at modern celebrity breakups, they are just awful.
Oh, they're so toxic.
Ever litigious PR battles playing out in the tabloids. But contrast that with Antonio's recent confession to People magazine about Melanie,
Mm.
11 years after their divorce.
It's honestly beautiful. He went on the record and said Melanie is, quote, if not my best friend, one of my best friends.
Like, who says that about their ex-wife of 2 decades?
Very few people. And it's not just talk. There was a recent Instagram photo that went viral. It's Antonio, Melanie, their daughter Stella, and Stella's new husband Alex, all just cuddling on a couch in Los Angeles.
Hanging out like a totally normal, happy family.
Exactly.
So how did they manage to beat the social penalty of gray divorce? How did Antonio not end up isolated from his family?
According to Antonio himself, he credits it to one word.
Sincerity.
Yeah. They separated, honestly, without a scandalous war. They didn't try to destroy each other in the press. And because of that mutual respect, Antonio maintains a beautiful, blended family.
The blended family aspect is amazing, especially when you look at his relationship with his stepdaughter, Dakota Johnson.
Yes. Dakota is Melanie's daughter with Don Johnson.
Right, and Antonio came into her life when she was young. He even directed her in the movie Crazy in Alabama when she was just 10 years old.
Which is such a sweet Hollywood connection.
And today, all these years after the divorce, she still helps him run lines for his acting roles.
I love that detail. He said she lovingly tells him when he's overacting. She'll be like, Pappy, pull it back a little.
That is just, it shows so much trust and closeness. It's rare to see a Hollywood story end with such genuine warmth. Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next on the show.
You know, wrapping all this up, looking at the data and their story, it brings up a really profound final thought.
What's that?
We generally view a gray divorce as a tragedy, right? Like it's a failure of a couple to make it to the finish line.
Yeah, that they gave up too soon.
Exactly. But look at Antonio and Melanie. If human beings are now living well into their 80s, perhaps we need to rethink the expectation of a 60-year marriage.
Oh, wow. That's a paradigm shift.
What if a 20-year marriage isn't a failure if it ends, but rather a successfully completed chapter?
Like they did what they were meant to do together, and then it was time for the next thing.
Exactly. As Antonio and Melanie prove, the end of a legal contract doesn't have to mean the end of a family. It might just be the evolution of one.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.